There are times in life when the average person is confronted with unbelievable situations that are beyond imagination. This is the story of a man who discovered his wife was cheating on him and decided it was time for a radical solution to the problem. He was willing to do what many would consider insane. The wife, who had betrayed him and become pregnant by her lover, never expected her husband to take such drastic measures. What had he decided to do? What fate did he choose for the cheater of his heart? In this story of amazing adultery, we will plunge into a world of intrigue, passion, and unexpected twists and turns. Are you ready to take in this story where human actions take unexpected forms? Get ready for a thrilling journey into amazing cheating stories that will rewrite the rules of the game. This is a story you can't get past. It happened 4 years ago. I was married. As a matter of fact, I still am. I have 2 wonderful, beloved children. I had a job interview and was suddenly hired at my new job. There were 2 women and 3 men on my new team. This third young man was on educational leave at the time and came in a couple of times in a short period of time. My first impression of him was that he was an arrogant, stuck-up, self-important man. As time went on, I slowly got used to the team. Fortunately, the colleagues turned out to be very nice and friendly, and the man was not so arrogant. I am a good judge of people, but this time my first opinion was wrong. Or maybe it was because there was a spark. A small, imperceptible spark. The person became pleasant for me to talk to. At what point does that click? When people begin to reach out to each other on a subconscious level, I'm afraid it is impossible to track, much less explain. You start to communicate more and more, and gradually you get bogged down in this emotional swamp. More and more. Light touches as if in between, compliments, words, more and more personal and conscious. My man, my good man only, in the wrong place at the wrong time, unfortunately. Long conversations, text messages, talking about nothing and about very important things. He is a man with a very right attitude in life, but even he succumbed to emotion. The responsibility for the beginning of our relationship lies entirely with me. I was the initiator. In terms of morals, and according to all the canons of life, I could not and should not have, but I have not regretted anything. That kind of emotion and intimacy with a person, soul emotionally bodily, is one opportunity in a million. And I am grateful to fate for this man in my life. This relationship lasted a year and a half. There was everything, the fights, the recriminations, the talk about the hopelessness of the relationship, the need to break it all off and the opportunity to do so, and the all-consuming tenderness, care, attention, support, and the consequence, pregnancy. The moment he decided to finally put a stop to it. My fear. Why did I say that as a consequence? In this age of opportunity, you can protect yourself quite well from an unwanted pregnancy. But in this case, I know why there was a new life inside of me. I wanted, really wanted all the goals of belonging to this man, and then turned on my mind and interrupted everything, including the life of our unborn baby. Because you can't, because they won't understand, because I'm married and have 2 children, and many more different things, because he couldn't let himself and me break it all down, make these people miserable. He stepped aside, tears, hurt, pain, my husband. I told him everything. He was in a lot of pain. The resentment, the recriminations, and then the words. I knew. I felt that you belonged to another man for a long time. And he forgave. I think he would have even accepted this child. But I couldn't, and I knew that by doing so, I would be hurting the father of this child by leaving him and staying by my husband's side. Although it seems to me that after a while all this will seem so insignificant and unimportant compared to what I did. I will regret it very much, I know. Later, when time passes, when my children grow up. After this incident, after setting the record straight, after this promise to my husband not to get involved in our family, after my pleas to give me time to forget and let go. In spite of everything, I was still attracted to this man, and it all started again. But life sometimes takes new turns, and it is up to us to decide which step to take. I had the opportunity to change jobs, to move to another city, and I made the decision. The right thing in terms of rationality, reasonableness, family. I left for goodbye. He gave me the best bouquet in my life and a chain with a pendant. Wearing it then, I never took it off. My husband knows who it was given to me. He understood at once, but did not say a word of reproach to me. I guess I understand that it is too mine. We honestly tried to stop communicating. He did not write, blocked all access to me, said that it would hurt a lot. But it is necessary. It is easier for both of us. I even thought that he would not congratulate me on my birthday, even messages, but he did not forget, and the courier brought me his congratulations in the form of a stunning, beautiful bouquet of flowers. There was no note, but I knew it was him. Only he spoiled me with such signs of attention. I brought all the things he gave me. I surrounded myself and the name. I never got used to the fact that he was not there. To his silence, it was easier. Life, work, taking care of children. Everything continues to go on as usual. I give myself to my children and books, and I have engaged with myself and my development. Because once I promised him that I would look so that when he suddenly met me somewhere, quite unexpectedly, he smiled and thought, this woman was mine, and she was still so beautiful and exciting. For almost 2 years, I have been living in another city. A few more times after I left then, we met. He surrounded me with care, attention, and arranged such evenings that only he can build. Our relationship was not interrupted at all, and to the present moment. They are cyclic. Months of silence are replaced by long correspondence. In the age of online life, it is possible. I follow his life, and for some reason I think he follows mine too. Statuses, designed as if for me, photos, time. When was the last time in social networks? It means all is well. He is alive, he is, and that is important. In minutes, or rather months of cold silence. We talk statuses, posts, posted photos. I know. I feel that they are for me, and I think he understands that mine for him. It is impossible to let go when your soul is there with him. And now, dear listeners, I will tell you a short story that will tell you how I should have acted in my husband's place. Listen carefully. I start about the log. I am fed up with you. You are always away from home. You replaced me for work. I am a woman. I need attention. I leave you. Live with your work. I met someone else. He does not read you. And attentive and tender and good in bed. And with you I have never even had satisfying. I was playing. You are not a man in bed, proudly throwing the keys from the apartment and the car, and taking her bag of things. She left. 2 weeks passed. A call. Sorry. I made a terrible mistake. Please. I want to return and am ready to meet all your conditions. The main part. She met him on a dating website 3 months ago. He was 5 years younger than her. She was immediately won over by his gallantry. He constantly sent her luxurious rose bouquets, albeit virtual, communicated very gently and beautifully, constantly complimented her. 3 days later, they exchanged phone numbers. A week later they met. He arrived in a luxury car when he met her coming out of the shopping center. A large bouquet of roses. She was enraptured. Butterflies fluttered in her stomach, and cockroaches started flying in her head. An intimacy happened after 2 days in his country house. He was a businessman engaged in construction, but always found time for her, dropped everything and flew to her at her slightest wish. 3 months of crazy meetings passed, and he said that he loved her and offered to leave her husband and move to him. And she left her husband, because it was love. After 2 weeks, finding out that everything she had belonged to her husband. He asked her to leave him alone. As it turned out later, the car, the country house, and even the apartment were rented, and he was just a swindler, cheating women on money. Epilogue. I know that caused you a lot of pain. I am sorry I did not understand what I did. I was like in a fog, because you will not just cross out 3 years of our married life. I'm sorry I only love you. I made a mistake. Because I now understand perfectly well that you worked only for me. I always felt good only with you. The result is going back to your communal apartment and finally grow up. You have a grown-up son with his own family, and you are already 41 years old. And I filed for divorce, and no force will not make me take the application back, as I promised. The story was short, but I think you got my point. Yes, friends, I am 100% sure that those who have long subscribed to the channel are regular listeners and commentators. I say hi to you, by the way. And now I want to give you my thoughts about the reasons. Treason. Here is a myth that only a young wife cheats. You heard the truth, but it is not so. When he is in love, he has no age, but there are typical reasons which I want to consider, and I thought a lot about it, watched, analyzed, and here I came to this. Let's leave out of the equation situations where a marriage is not based on love, and a life together for both has turned into a torment. Here is obvious. In this case, adultery only provoked a separation, which was inevitable. But do not consider situations where there was a fateful meeting of two people meant for each other. Yes, it happens, and yes, this is normal. It is necessary to come and confess, and preferably before making penetrating acts in the other person. But then again, we are talking about true love, which a man and a woman were lucky enough to experience. What makes women cheat? Today let's talk about our beautiful women. Women who got married quite consciously. The first, in my opinion, is the absence of passion. Really, it is possible because both retain feelings. Joint life suits them. But sex life is no longer attractive. So, I think so. By the way, no one at any age is immune from the same rotten sex life. You know. The second, I think it is not the ability to spend time alone. Let me explain. It concerns those whose husbands are absent for a long time. Stories on the channel of Dramas of Destiny, well 100, and their wives have no business that would consume all their free time. You know. And this is a red thread runs through all stories. When a man often travels, on our channel these stories, as I have said many. And this is essentially the conclusion of observation from all these stories. What happens then? The woman begins to rush and seek attention to her own person somewhere else on the side. That's all. And the third, I think it is most obvious, very often young wives before marriage simply, well, did not get married with the girls, that's all. Here married early enough. They tied life with their first man and had no idea that they can be in the arms of others. That is, for them, it was a taboo subject. Basta. But fate, yes, the villain, as on the sin she connects them with imposing handsome men. Some, well, in their opinion imposing, in their opinion handsome. Yes, everyone has his own, with such a man who shows persistent interest. And so think about it, if just transferred into the head of such a young girl, and how to resist it. Now on to the second story. Our lives are filled with dates that seem special and important. However, what happens when those days become the blur of our existence? In the story I'm going to tell you about today, the main character was looking forward to his son's birthday. He hoped it would be a special and joyous moment for the whole family. But what happened that day that turned his world upside down? When he returned home to celebrate his son's birthday, he discovered his wife cheating on him with her lover. Instead of a happy and joyful atmosphere, the house was filled with betrayal and disappointment. What can one say in such a situation? How to cope with such a blow of fate? The story of his wife's cheating on his son's birthday will pave the way for drama and reflection on betrayal, family values, and the true meaning of love. Are you ready to join this journey through amazing wife cheating stories where every twist and turn will leave you tense and waiting for the next shock? Then welcome to a world of drama and destiny, where stories intertwine in unpredictable plots and show us what happens when trust is broken and masks fall. And we begin. Hi all. Married to my wife for 10 years now. Our son is 8. The first 6 years we lived just soul to soul, for each other and for the baby. Then the routine began. A routine, but reproaches from her side that I did not have enough money, that I could not find a normal job. But when I changed jobs and started bringing more money into the house, She started reproaching me for not being home all day. Also that my attention is not enough of my presence. Something else might. A year ago, she got a new job, and then everything changed. Until then, she was annoyed by literally everything. How I eat, come home late, put my slippers in the wrong place, not wash the dishes. Could because of the little things rolled me scandal. And then, somehow abruptly changed. Not to say that she became more affectionate. No, but just completely stopped noticing many things and paying attention in general. In terms of intimacy, also did not refuse, but did it, like scrubbing floors. I got a new haircut, dyed my hair blonde, changed my makeup. I started getting held up at work. Then some business trips I didn't understand. Tons of 3 days, tones of 10. Lying at first about little things, then about big things. For example, she said that she was going to stay overnight at her mother's. By the way, her mother was seriously ill. The next day, I took her mother fruit, and it turned out that she is in good health and feeling fine, and the daughter has not seen for 3 weeks. Or, for example, said that she and her friend Tatiana go to a cafe. And then I accidentally meet this Tatiana and ask, well, what is it? How they had fun yesterday? And she did not even understand what she is talking about. At night, when my wife fell asleep, I got into her phone and correspondence on WhatsApp, put everything in its place. I miss you, me too. When will I see you? I don't know yet. My husband seems to be onto something. I barely talked my way out of it yesterday. Yeah, tell them everything. I'm not sure I want to make any changes yet. I'm afraid of making a mistake. And I don't have a good reason yet. Let's just leave it at that. And so on. I had a conversation with my wife the next day. I'll tell you, it was a difficult conversation. At first she denied it to the last, but then she admitted it. Yes, I'm seeing another man. I'm sorry. I asked her what she was missing. She said she must have been missing something. You can't help what the heart wants, as you know. Nothing is done in a vacuum. She agreed that she was guilty before me, that she was mean to me, and that if I wanted to divorce her, she would understand me and wouldn't mind. I asked her what she wanted. Does she love them? She replied that she wasn't sure if she was capable of loving anyone at all. But she's happy with him. Then I asked the question, what about me? She said that I was a good father, husband, and man, that she was comfortable and secure with me, but that the passion she felt for someone else was gone, and that she was no longer as passionate as she had been. Then I asked her what to do next. She said that she didn't know, that it was up to you to decide. I said, what if I don't want a divorce? What if I offered to forget everything and start over? What if I'm ready to forgive her? She thought about it and said it wouldn't be like before, at least not yet. She suggested we not rush into this. We can always get a divorce, but we still have to remember we have a son. She said that she was very confused, that she needed some time to be alone, to sort herself out, to sort out her feelings, that I should give her this time, and to do this we should live apart. She suggested that I get a place to live. I said for a second native, but it's my apartment too, so why should I move out? She said that if she moved out, it would be forever and then the divorce was 100%. And she added that temporarily, it is better not to cross paths at all, and I should not see my son either. She said that she would explain to him that I had gone on a long business trip. As a result, I rented a room in a nearby neighborhood. For 2 weeks, I did not find myself. Then I wrote her first message. Hello, darling, how are you? How's your son? No answer. I also wrote that I missed them very much. Again, no answer. I tried to call. Either does not pick up the phone or resets. Then sent me a message. We had a deal. Why are you bothering me? Tell me, why are you tearing yourself and me apart? When the time comes, I'll contact you myself. In the meantime, you have to wait and not show up in my life until I call you. I asked if my son missed me. Again, no answer. and after 3 hours, I wrote to my son not to let him see me either. He thinks I am out of town, out of the country. 3 months passed. No contact. I transferred money to her card every month. I only kept it for gas, to pay for a rented room and a meager meal. And then came the birthday of my son. I decided that I couldn't wait any longer. I bought a gift and showed up uninvited. My son was very happy to see me. He even cried. But what I saw at home shocked me. It turns out that this guy my wife cheated on me with had actually moved his stuff into our apartment and was living with her. I caught them there together. She left him and her son sitting at the table. At me, she took him out into the hallway and threw a tantrum. She said she couldn't wait a little longer. Stated that I just spoiled everything with my appearance, that during the week she wanted to call me, that the lover was going to voice the fact that she had decided to break up with him and thought to stay with me. And I blew it. I told her then that she was cheating on me, that she kicked me out of our apartment on purpose to bring him here, that I was going to file for divorce and I wasn't going to take it anymore. She told me from the doorstep, "Oh, think what you want and do what you want. I don't care anymore." I left. A young woman moved into the apartment where I rented a room. The landlady rented her another room. She was from out of town, had come to work. She left her husband, an alcoholic, and left her daughter to live with her sister for a while. She said she would take her as soon as she could get back on her feet. Anyway, at first we communicated as neighbors, then as friends. I can't say that I had any soft feelings for this woman. I just wanted to forget myself. The romantic component of our communication was beginning to take shape, when all of a sudden I got a message from my wife. "Hi, how are you? I feel really bad. I can't do this anymore." I answer, "Why? Is there no one to console you?" We separated. He left me the day after your visit. I said to her, "What do you want from me now? Come here, please. I need you now more than ever. I know I'm trashy, but I can't go on, you understand. If you don't come, I'll throw myself out the window." Well, by the way, our apartment is on the 7th floor. I got up. I came. My son was at school. The house was a mess. And she's no better. In spite of the makeup she was putting on, it was obvious that her face was a little gray. There were bags and bruises under her eyes. One silk and chewy robe over her naked body. Dyed blonde hair sticking out in different directions. I asked her why she had called. She replied that it was actually my house too. Asked, at least now, not to leave her alone. Otherwise, she just cannot stand it. What's wrong? Lover dumped her. Said he didn't dump her. She kicked him out. She tried to hug me. I pushed her away and demanded that she get dressed properly and get herself and her apartment in order. Otherwise, my son will have to go to school, and she in the house in such a miserable state. She began to whine about how stupid she was. She hurt me so much that she cannot forgive. I just sharply said a good thing, "Do business, you look disgusting." While she rustled, I sat in the kitchen and fell into thinking. I was looking forward to the moment when she would come to her senses and call me. I agonized, tugging at my hands. And now, when I had already lost hope, that moment has come. And I don't feel any joy anymore. I burned out on her, it seems, after all this time. There was, of course, the desire to get up and leave, but you never know what she has in mind. What if? What if she really will throw herself out the window, or God forbid, her son will suffer? My son came back and asked me if I was going away for so long on a business trip. I replied that I did not know what my boss would decide. It's been a week. She's walking around silky, obliging. A couple of times, she tried to seduce me into intimacy, but I told her that I now need my own time. I don't want her like I used to. I haven't made any decision yet, but the feelings I had for her, they are just gone. They are gone. And I can't figure out what she wants at all. Does she repent, or she just doesn't want to be alone? Why did she blackmail me into coming back when I was about to start a new relationship? What had really happened between her and her lover that he had disappeared and I had found her in such a pitiful and miserable state? A lot of questions and not one answer. How to go on living, I do not know. I hope you can help me answer at least a few of them. I thank you in advance. Dear listeners, friends, thank you and me for listening to this story, for subscribing to the channel, and if you suddenly have not done so, you can subscribe directly below this clip by clicking on the red subscribe button. Then you won't miss future videos. Also, thank you for commenting every video so actively and discussing everything. Stay healthy, take care of yourself and your family, and I won't say goodbye. See you soon.